mistakes from Zepbound 7.5 milligrams to Zepbound 10 milligrams and Mounjaro 7.5 milligrams to Mounjaro 10 milligrams. Mistakes, huge, big. If I could quote Pretty Woman. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I have been on Mounjaro and Zepbound for the last 15, almost 16 months. I've lost a whopping 85 pounds, a small human, like my child size, over the last 15, almost 16 months. And I have switched from Mounjaro to Zepbound as a result of the Mounjaro shortage. So I'm very soon probably switching to a compound from Zepbound as a result of the Zepbound shortage now. But what happens when I went from 7.5 milligrams on Mounjaro, and this is also applicable to Zepbound 7.5 milligrams to Mounjaro 10 milligrams or Zepbound 10 milligrams. What happened? What were the big mistakes? Because I made a bunch, friends, and I hope that this video encouraged you. Make sure you stay till the very end. I've got the biggest mistake of what did not work well. I was on 7.5 milligrams of Mounjaro for only but 1 month because of the Mounjaro shortage. Now I went back into my phone and I saw when I was on Mounjaro, this was 11 months ago, which is crazy. And in that video, my dad's calling. I want to show you the video, but my dad's calling, and so I'll show you. Today's been a cluster. You guys ever just have those days? Today is one of those days. I want to show you the video that I had pulled up. Okay, he stopped calling. I want to show you the video that I had looked back at. I had lost 47 pounds from Mounjaro. And friends, this was 11 months ago, which is crazy. Here's the video. It's this video. I had lost 47 pounds when I switched over, and that was 11 months ago. I've now lost 85 pounds, which I did the math on that, and I realized over the last 11 months, that means each month I only, air quote, only lost 3.5 pounds per month. If that gives anyone any hope for turtles out there, if you are a turtle, slow and steady wins the race. I'm still trucking towards that 100-pound weight loss goal. Realistically, with my BMI, probably 125 pounds, but I've dropped 6 pant sizes, size 24 now down to a size 14. I have these on the Amazon shopping list, which is crazy, but my biggest mistake that I did not incorporate with Mounjaro switching from 7.5 to 10, gastrointestinal issues. OMG for me. OMG for me. Now, I didn't realize, obviously, we've talked about gastrointestinal issues so much here. And looking back at that video, I talked a lot about how bad it was. And usually people have the most common gastrointestinal issues are diarrhea, constipation, or nausea. Knock on wood, vomiting's also in there. Knock on wood, I've never had that, but I have had the nausea component on Mounjaro 15 milligrams for quite some time. Not vomited, thank goodness, but that nausea popped up for me on Mounjaro 15 milligrams, but not for any other dose. But I digress. Having on there, making this move, the first week of Mounjaro 10 milligrams, which I ended up being on Mounjaro 10 milligrams for 3 months before I titrated it up, it's either one or the other. If people are holding it in with constipation or they're expelling with diarrhea. And this is not to be too graphic or gross, but I wanted to set expectations of that first week of being on Mounjaro 10 milligrams, I could not go far from my house. I had the diarrhea component, and that was trippy. That was a lot, and I had to actually change the way I was eating. I cut out high-fat foods, basically, because that was, for me, literally not good if I ate that. I had to change our date night for the first week because I didn't want to be too far away from home. My stomach was just existing, and it did not do well. That first week was very much a transition. And so if you're in that boat of when you titrate up, for me, it was just the first week. And then after that, it was much more normal. It was still somewhat of a releasing, but it wasn't it wasn't crazy like it was that first week. That first week on Mounjaro 10 milligrams, holy guacamole. I lost a lot of weight that first week, I'll tell you that. It's because I kept having to run to the restroom. And so from that, a couple of things. One, if you're having constipation, magnesium. I've got my best magnesium I'm obsessed with. I actually switched over to one that has 7 types of magnesium in it. I'll link it down below. Use the discount code QUEEN, Q-U-E-E-N. Highly recommend if you're constipated, but I still take magnesium. Even with the diarrhea, I still took it. But that very much helps. And it also helps, by the way, for muscle recovery, weight loss, and a bunch of other things too. Always talk to your healthcare provider before taking any supplements though. So gastrointestinal for me was one of my biggest mistakes of like, I think just not being aware of how intense it could get. And then with that too, because I was having so much diarrhea, y'all, I was worried I was gonna get dehydrated. So you guys know I've talked about this for the last 16 months. Literally my first week I bought Element electrolytes and I've been on it ever since. I love their electrolytes. They do have given us a discount code too. That was very helpful to make sure as I was letting go of things that I was like replenishing those electrolytes as well. So that was super, super helpful for me. And actually has been really helpful even with my nausea. Like I'll sip on it. You guys know I love my 4-ounce tumbler. So I'll sip on that as I, now currently with Mounjaro 15 milligrams. But the gastrointestinal, big mistake. Like just wasn't prepared. And so this is the thing I say pretty much in every video, but just because you don't have one side effect on one dose does not mean it's not going to happen for the next dose, has been my experience, strength, and hope. And so I like to be a good Girl Scout. So I do have stocked in my home if I do have constipation, if I do have diarrhea, if I do have nausea. I lined all those things up. You can see that on my Mounjaro Amazon shopping list. However, I do not buy from Amazon any of my supplements. I buy those directly from the vendor. There's a reason for that. I buy everything else on Amazon, everything else. So that's down on my Amazon shopping list and the supplements are down in the description. Just click that ... more button. Number 2, when I was looking through this video, I was so fatigued. Literally in the video, I barely, like, as I was talking, I could tell how tired I was. The level of fatigueness, no one talked about that 11 months ago, by the way. Like, that was a newer thing that's come out the past, I don't know, 10 months, 6 months, something like that. It's been, to me, it seems recent. When I was at that stage, no one was talking about being so tired. So tired. Like coming to do a YouTube video, I was like exhausted. And as I've said many times before, I will go through all these side effects. For the pain that I was in at that highest, like when I first started this to where I am now, I will happily take it. I will happily take it. Happily take it. But the level of fatigueness on day 1 and day 2, crazy, was so tired. And so what helped me again, magnesium, but also when I was having my fatigue level of tiredness, my sleep was so whack. I would be so exhausted, but then in the middle of the night, wake up with eyeballs wide open, like this insomnia. It was very weird of being like so incredibly tired and then so like wide awake. And I would wake up from like 2 to 4 in the morning a couple of times a week. And that happened only at the beginning of my 10 milligram increase. It only happened a couple of times with that, a couple of weeks. It wasn't permanent. But I switched over and I highly recommend because I bought it to try it before. You guys know I buy stuff to try before I tell you guys about it. It was called Sleep Breakthrough. It has been very helpful for me. I don't take it often, but when I do take it, I have like, I call it Disney Princess Sleep. It's like Princess and the Pea sleep. It was very helpful to help with that insomnia component, but it made my fatigue worse because I was awake for 2 hours and it compounded that fatigue that I had as a result of Mounjaro and subsequently Zepbound. So something to note on that of the level of tiredness and giving myself extra grace, my job extra grace, my family extra grace, and saying no to some things for a little while until I felt like I got that level of fatigue under control, particularly on day 1 to day 2, like not booking anything. I just would tell my friends, I'm so sorry, it's shot day. Like we went on vacation when we were in the Outer Banks for vacation. My dad came and it was shot, it was like within that window, that 24 to 48 hour window. And I was so tired, I was like, Dad, I can't hang out. I know you just drove like 6 hours to be with me, but to him and my stepmom, I'm gonna go take a nap. And just explaining to people, not just because that's a diminishing word, explaining to people, this is part of my medication. I'm really sorry. I care about you. And same thing for my friends. I care about you. I don't have anything else to give. And even with my son, I'd be like, come sit on the bed, baby, and we'll play like a board game or we'll do your homework while I was like laying on the pillow of like, that was the best I could do. I still sometimes have that with my Mounjaro 15 milligrams, but not like that on the Mounjaro 10 milligrams. It was not even in the same ball of wax. Number 3, muscle mass loss. Now, that had been I've been talking about that for now the last almost 16 months about muscle mass loss, but really focusing in on it. If you guys have not gotten a muscle mass scale, I have one, it's like 25 bucks, around there. It's on my Mounjaro Amazon shopping list. It syncs with the Smart tape measure. I recommend this brand because they sync together in one app on your phone. If you have high blood pressure, they also have a blood pressure cuff that also syncs on that app. It's easy to use. It's easy to sync up. You can have multiple people, like you and your partner can have different profiles or whatever. So you don't need to buy multiple of these. You can just buy one and then use it with multiple. But for the scale, it has 13 different measurements besides just weight. And one of them is muscle mass. So you can track that. And for me, combating that, first tracking it to know where the numbers are. And then 2, protein. Getting that 100 to 120 grams of protein, best I can on days. Day 1 and day 2, that's the appetite suppression is too much. But for the rest of the days, really focusing in on that. And that for me was hard. And so that was one of the reasons why, and you guys have seen the shift, I ended up getting Biocare, their protein shakes made for semaglutide and Tirzepatide people. So people in Mounjaro, WEGOVY, Zepbound. Intentionally to increase my protein, because I tried like eating the shrimp and beef and chicken and Greek yogurt and like I could not. And so having that has been very helpful. It's 20 grams of protein for only 6 ounces, so I can chug it. Helps to combat that muscle mass loss. And then 3, looking back at that video on Mounjaro 7.5 milligrams to Mounjaro 10 milligrams, at that time I was still pushing myself to weight train to help with the muscle mass loss. And I got very afraid. This is where I'm trying to push past this. I'm very afraid at that point. I'm afraid somewhat, but I now do wall Pilates instead. I didn't figure that out then though. So take my lessons, take all that information that I've learned. I couldn't do weight training. I know I needed to, and I still know I need to, and I will get to that point, but I am not there yet. With my comfortability, with my joints, I can hear my knees crack when I'm doing it. One of you had recommended that I go to physical training to learn new exercises to help strengthen my knee to weight train. So thank you if you were that viewer, thank you. I appreciate you. At that point, I was trying to lift and push past being so afraid, but it was not sustainable. And so that's my biggest encouragement for you, is finding things that are sustainable and that you love. If you love it, you'll keep doing it. If you don't love it, you're not going to do it. So testing and trying and finding things you love. I love wall Pilates. In fact, I'm giddy. I'm so excited after this video to go do wall Pilates. It is awesome and I love it. And so I highly recommend that. Finding something to help with your muscle mass loss, with lifting, Pilates, wall Pilates, whatever. Something that helps to build that muscle, because we do need strength training to help combat that muscle mass loss. Muscle mass loss is not just Mounjaro weight loss, Zepbound weight loss, WEGOVY weight loss. It is weight loss in general. So don't be afraid when people, it drives me bonkers when I see in the media these buzzwords to villainize GLP-1 medications. For me, it's changed my life and it saved my life. And so like literally, so don't hear those buzzwords that scare you about muscle mass loss. That is just weight loss in general when you're having a big chunk of weight loss to lose. Number 4, from 7.5 milligrams to 10 milligrams, I only was on 7.5 milligrams for 1 month. And one of you guys had asked a brilliant question. You said, oh my gosh, my dad's showing up. That's why the dog's gonna freak out now. I've tried to do this video literally, I'm not kidding, 6 times. No joke. It's literally been 3 hours of me trying to film this, but I'm about ready to lose my bazungas here. I just want to film this video. I just want to tell you guys my mistakes and then roll on with my day. I'm so frustrated. I think the mistake is I'm not having patience today, and I want to film this video so badly, and I keep getting interrupted. Have you guys had that where I'm like, I just need to do this and then get on down the road? So the shortage made me change doses when I didn't want to. And that's just par for the course. I would have stayed on Zepbound 7.5 milligrams a lot longer. One of you brilliant viewers had said, Elizabeth, you suggest from your experience, strength and hope, never medical advice, because I'll always punch you to your own healthcare doctor, that Eli Lilly tells us to stay on certain doses for a certain period. And why am I saying something different? That was new information to me. So thank you to that viewer who said that to me too in the comments. I may not reply to all your comments, but I do see all of your comments. that was a great comment. And I ran over to the website to go look to see what they were talking about on the Eli Lilly's website with Mounjaro and Zepbound. And in fact, it does have dosing recommendation timelines. That was new. I didn't know that. But for me, I wish I had stayed on lower doses longer because I am at Mounjaro 15 milligrams and there's nowhere else for me to go. It is working though. I did a whole dark side video of, and I want to do an update of like the bright side of it, is I thought at this point, being months now on Mounjaro 15 milligrams and Zepbound 15 milligrams, that me titrating up so quickly because of the 7.5 milligrams only being on for 1 month, that me getting to the ceiling highest dose, it's actually been great. I know, right? I had been so afraid to get to the highest dose, and it's been really working well for me. Like, I have been losing weight, I have more energy, I feel like I'm in this great cadence and rhythm as of today's date of being on it almost 16 months, just shy of 16 months. And so that was one of the things that I had said of staying on doses longer. But I'm now having more experience under my belt, figuratively and literally, it actually worked itself out. So that's what I want to tell you too, is it's going to work itself out, but you need to make sure you're in communication with your healthcare provider. If you don't have a great healthcare provider to talk to who is an expert in GLP-1 weight loss medications for chronic obesity management, if you're on Wegovy or Zepbound, I want to encourage you to use Join Fridays. Use the discount code QUEEN. I switched over to them from my primary care doctor, and then I was with another telehealth company, and I switched over to Join Fridays because they are the experts, in my humble opinion, for GLP-1 weight loss and chronic obesity management treatment plans. They've been gracious to give us a 25% off discount code, so you can use that on your first month. But it's been so helpful for blood work and getting my medication quickly, with the being able to pivot from, they prescribe both brand names, meaning Zepbound and Wegovy, and compounds. So I was able to get, and I know some of you guys wanted an update on this, I was able to get Zepbound this month. When I'm not able to, I will just switch to their compound. It's no big deal. Having that backup plan in place, so much peace as a result of that, because I didn't think I was going to be able to get this. I didn't think I was going to be able to get this month's Zepbound, and I did. It was random. But the shortage, it's a mistake that's beyond my control, and I have to recognize things I can control, things I can change, and the wisdom to know the difference of what I can't. And I cannot control the shortage. I can get mad, oh, people in Hollywood are stealing our medications. That's not true, by the way. That's a complete lie. It's a great way to villainize something when it's not true. It's just an unprecedented amount of people taking GLP-1 medications for weight loss. And so recognizing that, and I can't change that, and rolling with it has provided me much more peace. And having a backup plan in place with Join Fridays to get the compound instead has been amazing, 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 amazing. So it's one of my biggest things for you is the shortage. There's pros and cons with it too. I mean, really, like, just roll with it, have a backup plan, be in communication with your healthcare provider, and find a really good pharmacy, and be nice to those pharmacists out there. They're working so hard. I couldn't be a pharmacist to deal with all of the mean people that they have to deal with. I've been hearing stories and I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart just goes out to pharmacists. So these were some of my big mistakes with them. I would love to know yours down in the comments. Feel free, or in my free Mounjaro encouragement group. It's also for Zepbound, Wegovy, all are welcome at that table. Semaglutide, Tirzepatide, if you're on the compounds. It is a great encouragement group, totally free, but if you're not nice, don't join that group. I only want fun and nice people. If you don't answer all of the questions, you won't be admitted into the group. And if your Facebook profile is less than 5 years, you'll probably get flagged as spam. So just email me. My email is in the description link below, as is all of these links I've mentioned. Just click that ... more button, and it will show you all of the other links with it too. So it has been amazing. I learned something this video. I had no idea that I had only lost 3.5 pounds each month. It was going from that 47 pound, was it 45 or 40? I'm trying to read my handwriting. 47 pound weight loss to 85 pound weight loss now in the last 11 months, which is crazy. I thought it was way more than that. So I was kind of getting, you guys know I'm going to keep it real here. I'm going to be authentic. I actually was getting a little bit sad about it and depressed to myself. I'm like, I see all these people on the internet who've lost so much weight, and I always tell you guys, comparison is the thief of joy. And I was literally comparing myself to other people on social media and on YouTube and things like that. And no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to appreciate and value where my body is now and the changes that I have made. And like, I am a totally different person than I was 16 months ago, and celebrating in that. But there was a twinge in that of me realizing I've only lost 39 pounds in 11 months. And what I tell you guys too is other people have more weight to lose. They're going to lose it faster. Getting down to near my goal weight, my body's pushing back against that weight loss. And so there's different challenges with that too than there was at the very beginning, and not getting down on myself about it. But this is going to take some mental gymnastics for me to kind of move past of like, oh, I'm not like where I thought I would be at this point. Like looking back from my Mounjaro 7.5 milligrams and Zepbound 7.5 milligrams. Same thing, by the way, they're just different FDA approvals. Zepbound is for chronic obesity management and Mounjaro is type 2 diabetes. Looking back on that journey of like, gosh, I wish I was at a different spot than I am now. But it is where it is. And I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep trekking forward, and I'm not going to get discouraged, and I'm not going to compare myself to other people, and I'm going to stay in my own lane. And what can I control? Well, today I can control the protein I have, the water I drink, the body movement that I do, and sticking to what Eli Lilly tells us, making permanent lifestyle changes for physical activity and with our eating plan. I can control that. Those are things that I can actively control today. And speaking of things I can control, I want to say thank you guys so much. YouTube invited me out to LA last month to do a Sephora and YouTube. It was a social shopping summit. Thank you. As a 40-something-year-old woman to be invited, it was all young chippies. They're all in like their early 20s, and to be this one of the only 40-year-olds there. There were some 50 and 60-year-olds too, which I love seeing. Thank you. I wouldn't have gone if it hadn't been for you. And I got invited. I don't know if I'm able to say this or not, so I don't think it's against my NDA. YouTube invited me again this month to go out to LA to go with YouTube and Lowe's, which I'm really pumped about. So stay tuned on that. It was because of you I was invited. So thank you for watching this video. I'm obsessed with our community, all of our counts and countesses. Truly, I got invited to this cool event because of our community, and I wouldn't have been invited otherwise. So I love you guys. Make sure you join that free encouragement group. I do also have, if you haven't gotten my free Mounjaro meal plan, it's also for Zepbound, WEGOVY, weight loss. I bought it for $500 from a dietitian to make specifically for our community. And I bought it for $500 so I would own the rights to it so I could give it away for free. My whole intention. So there's a shopping list with it. There's 17 different high protein recipes to go with it, and it's a full week. So take or leave what you want and leave the rest. It gives me great ideas whenever I go check into it, like that dill lemon crudité dip. Oh my gosh, it's so good, and it's high protein. So like things you may not think about. One of the recipes in there was for fish. I'm actually having that marinated right now while I'm doing this video, and I'm going to grill up my fish later on. And by the way, you guys were, speaking of Lowe's, I ended up buying, Lowe's didn't give it to me. I wish Lowe's, you would have got it to me, but I bought it myself, a new grill. So this is the new grill that I bought. If you're looking for a new grill, this is the one that the accountant and I had a great debate, much research. This is the one we ended up buying. So if you are looking for a grill, I'm going to be doing a lot of grilling food coming up. And my Mounjaro protein. You guys know I'm obsessed with my protein ice cream challenge that I have too. That's on some of the previous videos. Okay, tell me in the comments below what were your biggest mistakes, and two things. One, what is your action item today to move you closer to your goals? Put that in the comments. And then three, our emoji of the day. It's going to be the number 7. 7, 7, 7, 7. It's my lucky number too. That will tell me that you made it this far in the video. Make sure, and I will pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll uplift you in positive thought, but also it helps me to get to know you better. I truly do care about you, and there's thousands of you and one of me, and it's a way that I can learn your name and who's watching, and so I truly do care a lot about you. So number 7 is our emoji today. Okay, sweet friends, make sure you click that like and subscribe button. If you don't click subscribe, YouTube, it shows you more of my content if you're subscribed. So if you've made it this far, you probably do want to hit that subscribe button with the bell notifications, and then you can get notifications each time the video is released. So be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shop, and count my blessings because life is delicious. I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.